Look, I didn't make this video because I'm a, a romantic guy. No, I don't know too much crap. I'm just telling you locations and stuff. So, if you want to, I don't know, infiltrate the area, you can do so. Well, where would a single man, not not in a relationship man be who's in his 20s that's emotionally and physically available? Like a man in his 20s, 30s, or whatever. Okay, I know some reliable sources. It doesn't apply to all, but if you live in America, I don't know about other countries. It may be the case, but you're going to have to go into a little more specifics if you want to go into where you live specifically. So that way, if you live in a particular area, you will, like a certain town or a certain city maybe, you will probably get the idea of what it's like. Anyway, I would say the majority things are either the theater, either that or some sort of maybe hunting fishing place where they sell like fishing stuff, like tackle boxes, what they call flies, which is a form of hooking for fishing. And then you have your fish hooks, things like that. The kind of stuff you would see on SpongeBob, kind of. And then there's hunting places which have all the guns and things like that for all your special hunting or whatever. And then outside of that, you have your video game stores, because a lot of men are in movie stores, but movie stores are not as much as video game stores nowadays, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day if you want to get into that. But, hey, maybe I could talk about it, but you can if you want to. It's your free will. Anyway, back onto subject. If they like video games and stuff like that, or if you want people like that, then you can go there. But I know 3 places that are guaranteed. The third and kind of most unlikely of the 3 is politics. And this is because, politics kind of divide people mostly, or put people together. It really just depends, but still, it's very controversial. There are good things and bad things. But I would suggest going to either a pro-men place or going to something that's like you would think a man would like more, or a man would be mostly interested in. Those kind of things, because, you're more guaranteed to see men of that demographic, be at a pro-men place. And then 2 is religion. Now, I put this in second place because although religion is popular, it still has its own controversy. It's just more ancient, so we had enough time to actually deal with it. And it's not to say that it's necessarily a bad thing, it's just we had more time to react as a society with it. And we're reacting all the time with it. Same thing with politics as well. And you could find them at, say, a church or a synagogue or a whatever place of worship, as long as it's allowing men's existence, I guess, into whatever belief system it may be, of whatever worship it may be, if it's a religion of worship. Or however you would define a religion. And then number 1, and most likely, at least in my opinion, and what I've seen personally, and generally what the cycle goes to, which is sports. And if I know anything about men, if at all, sorry if that made funny noise, that was the TV. I have a TV in the house. Anyway, if I know anything about men, not most, not like all men, but like half of men, I guess I should say, are at least casual sports fans, you know? Because if you want a lot of men to just spawn like the freaking GTA 6 online server or whatever, if you understand that reference, like it's the latest iPhone or whatnot, just go to a sporting event. You're gonna get tons and tons and tons and tons of men. Especially if it's for more popular sports, mainstream sports. Especially if it's for more mainstream players or teams and or teams. So, yeah, if you get that, you'll be guaranteed some testosterone in the chat to be there. Okay? Like, you're gonna get more and more. Like, that's all they are. It's just push and push and push. And you might have to actually, learn about sports in order to do that. But that's generally what I say. Now, there are some other places like your local Goodwill or a gizmo shop or gift shop or a resale store. Like, obviously, like I said before, a Goodwill, which is kind of like an antique store, but they're very much a different thing. They just sell slightly different stuff to a noticeable degree, but that's a whole nother wacky conversation for whenever. Anyway, yeah, something like that, and then maybe, just maybe, the park. The park. Anyway, that's all I gotta say on this subject. You can let me know how accurate or inaccurate it is. And, yeah, if you enjoyed this, you can let me know. If you didn't, you can also let me know if you want to. Anyway, that's all I gotta say, and, yeah, have a nice day. Bye!